Their content produced by Chat with Traders are for informational or educational purposes only and do not constitute trading or investment recommendations or advice.
We all know about the comfort zone, and we all know about the growth zone. Typically, when people are content, it's because when they go into the growth zone, they're like, the return does not justify the investment. Then if they go a little further, there's the panic zone. They're like, I don't want to experience that. I'm pushing myself too hard and it's painful. So people come back to comfort zone. We've seen this in new entrepreneurs, new traders, new investors, new business owners, all the way to people that are doing really, really well. The trick is actually set a goal so much bigger than a panic zone. It will go and find creative ways to bring us into that hyper growth.
Markets, speculation, and risk. This is the Chat with Traders podcast.
And we're on episode 275. This is Tessa, co-host of Chat with Traders. What does finding the love of your life and trading have to do with each other? This episode may seem irrelevant at first, but guess what? At the core, it's intertwined. Why? Because it has to do with the mind. Well, you'll see. Today, Ian is engaged in a fascinating conversation with our guest, William Lamb. William is an expert in strategic mental and micro-behavioral programming and founded Upgrade. He helps elite investors, traders, entrepreneurs, and sales professionals, assisting them in visualizing and organizing the data and functionalities of the human mind, which can lead to improved mental efficiencies and optimal performance. Experiencing the noticeable communication differences between his childhood culture and his new home in the U.S., William was driven to become aware of how his limiting thoughts, imprinted from his family, drove unhealthy, unconscious actions. Learning how to shape his mental thought process played key roles in fulfilling big desires and creating a richer life. Hear how our minds are like operating systems to which we can influence for better or worse. And guys, we're just scratching the surface in this episode, but it's enough to get us to reconsider our thoughts and behaviors from a fresh perspective. Enjoy the ride. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so pleased to introduce William Lamb, currently in Arizona.
Well, welcome, William.
Thank you, Ian. Great to be here with you.
Before we dive into your history, if you could summarize very briefly kind of what's top line, big picture, what do you do?
If you were to look at big pictures, we're essentially programmers of the human mind. We take into account how technologies have evolved for the actual technological space, but much of the mindset tools or tools to optimize the human mind has not actually evolved that much. So we took upon ourselves not only the mission, but the development of tools that are backed by science and test, as well as actual tangible outcomes, to develop tools for people that want to perform and have elite results.
So now if we go back in time, say to your younger self when you're in school, how did you get interested in it? What was the catalyst to get you on this path?
In the beginning, it had to do with me just moving to the US and not really understanding the social dynamics and the communication, the difference in communication, not just in terms of language or linguistics, but culturally, as well as what's important to people. Depending on their demographic, people would have different interests and different values and different beliefs. And America is such a melting pot, right? So people have so many different values and beliefs. And so when I first came to school in the US, I noticed that, but I didn't know how to label it or systematically understand them. So that began my early curiosity that caused me to become very curious about how do I address this systematically and optimize my own communication and thinking so that I can at least fit in, but then create my own social circles that brings me, the friendship and all the things I desire.
What were a few differences, major differences between the culture that you grew up in your family, and then the difference what you saw and experienced among your classmates.
There are so many. And frankly, I wouldn't say just differences. There are similarities. However, one of the first things I observed was how open people are in complimenting each other here in the US, which was quite wonderful. It's not a common thing in where I was growing up. And in fact, most of the time people point out faults and problems more so than the good things that we observe. So that was quite a pleasant surprise.
So what culture did you come from?
I came from Hong Kong originally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see. So
lots of traders there.
Oh, okay, great. Yes, indeed. So in the culture you grew up in Hong Kong, you experienced more critical aspects. I mean, that were your neighbors and family less likely to praise you for